There is no one out there right now, and there is good reason for that because of those conditions out there. If you were to get in trouble, there is no one to come find you because, of course, those first responders are not going out in conditions of 40 miles per hour or more. We're seeing gusts of that all throughout our area.
That's right, all throughout. That was Miami, and now we have an opportunity to check in with Jessica Holly in Miami Shores and similar conditions there, although it seems like it's raining there, unlike where Omar was. Jessica?
Right, when we first pulled up just a few minutes ago, it was pretty calm, and then another gust came through with wind and rain. It is picking up right now. Every now and then you get a gust that almost knocks you off your feet. We were here yesterday. This is the Miami Shores area, just toward the end of Northeast 96th Street, where it meets the bay. We had to park our news unit here in an alleyway because if you look over here, the streets are starting to flood. This is a mandatory evacuation zone, so there aren't many people, according to neighbors, left in this neighborhood. And here's why. This area, there was a huge concern about the storm surge. We were hearing 3 to 5 feet. Well, we see that the water is already coming up. Police have warned us not to go too close to the seawall, but we're going to take you down there just so you can see the waves crashing over the seawall. If you look on either side, it appears the people who have stayed have managed to park their cars up in driveways because they know that there's potential for street flooding. As we get closer to this seawall, it's hard to tell if it's actually raining or if this is the spray coming off of the seawall. We're going to try to get close enough so you can see those waves crashing off of it. Yesterday when we were here, the waves were crashing and the area next to it was starting to retain water, but it would drain and then calm down a little bit, and then it would come back. This is not draining. And we heard just a few minutes ago, all right, we're going to stop here. The wind is just too strong to keep going. But we did, we heard we are not going to the seawall. We're not going to the seawall. Police told us not to go to the seawall because there is a danger there. When those waves are crashing over the edge, it almost looks like it has the potential to pull you back in. And the fence over there has spaces that are about 1.5 feet tall. You can see some branches are down. Yesterday, there were a lot of people out here looking around, taking pictures. Obviously, picture time is up. We're getting another really strong gust out here. What's amazing to me is that this neighborhood, you look around here, you see the lights. People have power. I don't live far from here, just a few blocks away, and we lost power around 9 o'clock last night. And then it came back on around midnight, and it may have been the same case for this area. I can tell you, driving around this area in Miami Shores, there's debris all over the roadways. We're talking about palm fronds. Yesterday, we saw one power line down. Didn't pass that way today, so I don't know if that's been taken care of. But it is not safe to be out in the street. Not just the wind, the rain, the debris in the road, the possibility of downed power lines. It's something else to consider. Not only should you not go out right now, but many of the injuries that happen in storms happen after the storm. When you're told not to go out because there are dangerous things that you may not be aware of. The water is not safe, often after a storm if there's flood water. And again, those downed power lines, often you cannot see those. So you are encouraged. We have seen some people walking down the street, not in this area, but on the way here. If you are curious, do not go outside. I know Lorena referenced that tweet from the Miami-Dade police director. He says you're going to hear some weird noises outside. Do not go outside to investigate. And I can tell you last night, as I was trying to catch a few hours of sleep, there were all kinds of noises. And if you have hurricane shutters on your home, or if you live next to someone who does, you probably heard those shutters just rattling back and forth every time one of these gusts came through. All right, right now we're going to have to kind of brace ourselves because this is strong. This is much, much stronger than what we saw yesterday. You have to think about it. We were told that in the beginning, we were thinking this storm was going to hit us directly. This is nowhere near a direct hit, and the storm hasn't even made it here yet completely. it's hard to imagine what we would be seeing right now if that actually happened, if that storm had headed straight for Miami. Of course, everybody is thinking about the folks in the Keys right now. Can't imagine the scene there, guys.
And Jessica, we're going to be a little break there to catch your breath. And as we keep you there in this shot and try to catch your balance there, that is part of what we're experiencing all across South Florida. Those gusts, those squalls that move through, and that is some of the strongest that we've seen as we approach the 7 o'clock hour, which she was referring to. She and Lorena are out in those elements along with our other crews. And there was a tweet sent out by Miami-Dade PD, and it says that hunker down in place is the thing to do. Going to be a long ride from this point forward, and you'll hear a lot of noises. That's what she's talking about. Don't get curious and try to head outside, especially right now, because what you're hearing are breaking limbs, downed power lines, and a lot of debris flying around out there.
So that right there is a great example of what storm surge is. Jessica was in the middle of some flooded areas, right? So, and she was mentioning the seawall. So what storm surge is it's that water from the bay, that ocean water coming onto the streets of a neighborhood, and then it levels out, and that's flooding in itself. Add on top of that the rain that will continue to be pouring on South Florida throughout possibly Tuesday, if not the end of tomorrow. So you have the storm surge, you have the rain. We're talking about severe flooding. Not only the winds that you have seen and you have felt and you have heard, but add on top of that the flooding and the rain. This is what we are going to experience for the rest of the day today. It is Sunday at 5:44 in the morning, and those are the conditions so far. Expect this for the rest of the day. This is the day, like Diana said, stay in, do not be on the streets. Hunker down. You've heard the tweets, you've seen the tweets, and you've heard the officials tell you hunker down. This is the time to do so.
And you know, if you're wondering, well, how long is this going to last? At what point can I go out? We had heard from the National Weather Service earlier, and they're talking about the extreme conditions expected in the next few hours. When I asked him, he said late into the afternoon and evening, maybe the first, that you could possibly venture out and be safe, because at that point, they believe that those extreme conditions will have passed. So I want to show you a tweet that they sent out a short time ago here.
Yeah, we showed this to you before, but this is the time that this is important to just let it resonate in your mind. If you are in Key West, if you're in the lower Keys, officials are warning you to not go outside, shelter in place, hunker down. If you're there, get into an interior room away from any windows. Put your shoes on. And we did have a chance to listen and talk to Miami Herald's reporter, David Ovalle. He's in the Keys. He's in Key West right now, and he told you, he described the conditions there, and he and his group there from the Miami Herald, they have a plan in place to do just that, to do what is on your screen right now, to hunker down, stay safe, and have something to protect yourself if, in fact, you are still there in Key West.
And those lower Keys folks in our thoughts, as well as those on the West Coast, in the Fort Myers area. 7's Nicole and Solana had a chance to visit a shelter there in Estero.
You have a wristband, sir?
A place to weather the storm just a few feet away.
It's been quite exciting.
The Howingtons and their dogs tried to get into 3 shelters, finally ending up here at the Germain Arena off I-75. Additional evacuation orders meant additional people, their children, their pets, trying to escape Irma. Connie Taylor is disabled and was afraid to stay home.
I'm just scared for the kids. That's why. I want to make sure they're safe.
Her daughter tried to reassure 6-year-old Rylan.
He just knows it's a really bad thunderstorm and there's a lot of wind and that a lot of houses could be damaged, and he knows that. But he knows when nothing's going to happen to him, right?
There is confusion.
I checked in, man. I'm trying to find my car.
There is calm.
Where I'm from, Cuba, we had them constantly. I've lived through stuff like flooding. What worries me more is the power lines.
And at night, people continue to show up. Inside, an evacuee's video shows families trying to relax, stretched out on the arena's floor, bracing themselves for Irma. Nicole Ensalada, 7 News.
All right, so that is the latest out of Southwest Miami-Dade as you take a look at Southwest Florida, Estero near Fort Myers. They are expecting to experience those very high hurricane force winds. They're